Does anybody have any questions so far? No? Okay.
The house system, could you just maybe touch on that? The layout of the chart is different
I think,
from.
we will be doing a lot
these
more
things.
than just house systems. We are jumping into the whole philosophy before we do any of that. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Can I
Homes,
ask the question then?
can we just wait for Akshat and then you can, carry on. Is that okay? But go on. Is there any particular thing you want to know, or is that Marga?
You mentioned to start with Ganesha mantra. So I was wondering why Ganesha mantra? Is that removing obstacles to have this workshop well, or why is Ganesha? Why it's not somebody else or some other mantra?
We will come to that. In fact, our introductory class is going to be quite long. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first we are going to go into a little bit of the Bhagavad Gita philosophy, and we are going to go into also the Vedic cosmogony, the whole Vedic philosophy, and then we will show you that how this is connected with your karma and some of the creation theory and the karma theory and the tattva theory, and how these are interlinked along with the grahas, the planets, as well as the houses. Okay. So, and then we will see that how each of the grahas or the planets are mapped into the yuga avatars. Okay, because we are not just teaching Vedic astrology, we are talking about the Vedāṅga Jyotish part of it. Okay, Vedāṅga Jyotish involves, as it's one of the knowledge base coming from the Vedas. It is one of the limbs of the Vedas. So it is not something that is like, just pick out a chart and read it. It's far more important than that, because here we are dealing with very difficult karmas of people. Okay. So just bear with me. And okay. So another Guru and Shiva mantra from the Parampara. Sada Shiva Samaramba Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmada Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. Om Shanti Shanti. So, have any of you heard of the classic philosophical text, the Bhagavad Gita? Yes?
Yes, we have heard of it,
Okay.
certainly.
Great. Okay. So one of the principal texts for philosophy, and you may be surprised, including learning Vedic astrology, has a lot to do with the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. And I will come to that why and all of that. But this is one of the Krishna Ashtakams. It's also one of the dhyana from the Bhagavad Gita. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanur Mardanam Devaki Paramanandanam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. So I salute Sri Krishna, the world teacher, the son of Vasudeva, the destroyer of Kansa and Chanura, who are obviously the demons, and the supreme bliss of Devaki, who's the mother. So here we begin with the Bhagavad Gita, and I will come to why the relevance of Bhagavad Gita. Now, Lord Krishna, when he passed away, he's one of the great Yuga avatars, the beginning of the Hindu age of Kali Yuga, as we know, set in. Now, Kali Yuga is like the fourth and the final ages. Yuga, the word Yuga in Sanskrit means big chunks of time. Okay. And they are mapped to the 4 yugas, which are mapped to the 4 Vedas. And the 4 Vedas are mapped to the 4 kendras of our house system. The 4 kendras are nothing but the angular houses, okay? Now, the fourth and the final age of mankind was the Kali Yuga, for which we are still in, and which indicates the deterioration of values and judgments and noble ideas. All of them crumbled completely, and people were heading towards disaster. And it's not the past, because we are in the midst of that. As you have noticed that we are like in the midst of acute suffering for been there for thousands of years, and complete dissolution of right action, morality, and virtue. And because Krishna is a Yuga avatar, his relevance and his teachings from the Bhagavad Gita are very, very pertinent. Now here, it's one of the verses that again from chapter 2 from the Bhagavad Gita. Ascharya vata pashyati kaschid enam ascharya vad vadati. So here we are talking, he alludes to the great, beautiful, vast universe, which is an amazing place, the tiniest of atom to the greatest of the galaxies and beyond. And they never cease to make us ascharya. Ascharya in Sanskrit means makes us wonder, the wonderment of this greatness of the galaxies which are beyond us. And the Vedic view is that we are not just part of the solar system. Like the tropical zodiac, the Western astrology ends at the solar system. But when we talk of the Vedic, when we talk of the Vedāṅga Jyotish, we are talking of the solar systems and beyond. We are talking of the nakshatras. We are talking of all these stars which are beyond the galaxies, which are beyond our solar system. So, solar system feels a little bit claustrophobic from the Vedic point of view. So you can well imagine the wonderment that Lord Krishna is talking about, the Ascharya, the wonders of the universe and beyond the galaxies. And our sole purpose and the greatest wonder is the Supreme Lord himself. And you can call Supreme Lord one source, Vasudeva, Brahman. He is alluded to in the Vedantic philosophy by many, many terms. And this wonder, we are part of the Supreme Lord. I mean, intellectually, we all know we are connected to some kind of source and things like that. But this is intellectually. Our journey, this lifetime and many, many lifetimes, is from the mind to knowing in your Anahata chakra, that is your heart chakra, the Hridaya chakra, all that. We have to know at our bare bones, that how our nature, that we are permanently connected to the Brahman. It's like our subset, we are part of a colossal subset which is connected to the ultimate Supreme Lord, which is Brahman. And who can bring us to that journey? It is only through knowledge, of course, but maybe an enlightened teacher can help us realize, our wonderment, our nature, our true nature. But that is a rarity. Most people are not interested. Most people are kind of either they don't understand the mechanics, or they are not interested, or even if they do, then it passes them by, the whole mechanics of self-realization, which is nothing but realization about our deep connection with Vishnu, Vasudeva, the Supreme Lord, the Brahman, the Sadashiva. You can give it any number of names, but they all are alluding to the same thing, the one source, okay? Now, it is far better to perform one's natural prescribed duty through tinged with faults than to perform another's prescribed duty, though perfectly. So here in this verse, there are many, at least 4 times the word dharma has been alluded to. Swadharma, he talks about, the paradharma, he talks about. Then again in the second line, paradharma bhaya vaha. So here what does dharma mean? You know, this is kind of like a word which is being bandied around in English language, but it is a quite an elusive word. It's a very difficult word. And often when we talk of dharma, when we talk from the Jyotish point of view, we are talking of the ninth house, you know. So that is very important for you guys to understand the fundamental of dharma. What is dharma? What is Sri Krishna? What is he talking about? Mentioning it 4 times in the chapter 3rd of the Bhagavad Gita, when it is the whole chapter deals with karma yoga or karma, you know. And the word dharma, or in Sanskrit, originates from dhr, dhar, which is dhar, which means dhoran karane yogya. That means one which is worth doing, responsibilities, duties, thoughts, and actions that are appropriate to our fundamental nature, appropriate to us. So the word dharma is a quite a vital word, because our entire life depends, everything about our life as you go through this Vedic journey depends on the word dharma. And again, the swadharma is our personal dharma. So dharma can be many kinds, but the first and the foremost one is swadharma, that is our own. Here you can see Lord Krishna and Arjuna by an artist depiction about how he is advising him about the swadharma takes the absolute priority. And what do we mean by swa? Swa in Sanskrit means us, our self, and it is linked to our soul. And he's asking Arjuna to follow the swadharma, telling him, don't follow other people's profession, other people's ideas, faith, this, that. You have to follow what is right for you, not what somebody else is doing. Now, the key question that comes to mind is, what is our dharma? What is our swadharma? That's where the Vedāṅga Jyotish will come in. Swadharma. This is where the big questions are answered by the great Parāśara Muni Rishi. You know, the Maharishi, great Parāśara. So the duties in this verse, he's talking of the duties born of our nature can easily be performed with the stability of mind. So when we talk of the stability of mind, we are talking of the manas, you know, we are talking of manas as in the moon, the mind giving us the even keelness, the equanimity. But most of our minds are like monkey minds. We are darting all over the place. We are embroiled with all our endless stream of thoughts. Before one thought begins, we are on to the next and the next. It's a constant battle going on in our mind. And that's where the problem lies. Because if we are aligned, that's what Lord Krishna is saying, that if we are aligned with our own fundamental dharma or our nature, then the thoughts, then we are able to easily achieve and perform the stability of mind. And we all agree, there's a bygone or foregone conclusion that without the stability of mind, our body, nothing will work. We can't manifest anything. We can't move forward anything. I mean, mind is everything. At least for this lifetime, you know, given our human body existence, mind is everything, okay? And the duties of others may seem attractive from a distance. So we may be tempted by all the indriyas, that is our 5 senses, you know, there's all temptations everywhere, which vitiates our mind. And that begins, then we think of switching, we think of like, you know, doing something else and all that. And then we are completely lost. Then we are totally lost. And once we are lost, we can't, the mind is out of control. Our body will eventually disintegrate into chaos, because there is an intelligence of the mind. The stability of the mind is very vital. And the mind, body, and soul connection is what the whole of the Jyotish Shastra is all about. It has to, you have to go through the mind, You have to stabilize the mind before you come to managing the body and everything else. And if there is a conflict with our nature, it will indeed create disharmony. And then in our senses, mind, intellect. And once that sets in, it will be reflected through the agency of our indriyas or our body. And this is detrimental ultimately for our higher consciousness, and it will hinder our progress on the spiritual path. Now, you may well ask, well, I'm unwell. I have, financial problems. I have this problems. So why are we talking of consciousness? Why are we talking of higher consciousness? Why are we talking of all that? When I have mouths to feed, I have a child whom I have to look after, but wait a minute. What did Lord Krishna says? Just follow blindly the Bhagavad Gita and you will get your answers. Because the Bhagavad Gita says, first and foremost, the stability of the mind. You have to be on the right path. But how do we know what path we are on? What is our Dharma? That's where the Jyotish comes into the picture. That is where the absolute managing of the mind, like not in a Nazi way. How do you do that? In a very disciplined way. That's why I use the word Nazi. Great sense of discipline. And then you'll be able to achieve the, the stability of the mind, only through that. And the mind is absolutely crucial, and how do we manage the mind? We'll come to that. Highlights. So Lord Krishna is highlighting that it is better to die. Now, this is how extreme this particular verse or shloka is, that we have paradharma bhayavaha. That is, it is better to die in the faithful performance of one's duty than to do something unnatural position of doing some other person's duty or following someone else's path. Because you are your own unique being, in spite of being connected with one consciousness, the supreme being, the supreme Vasudeva, Jagannath, whatever name you can call. In spite of that, you are still an expression, a unique expression. Okay. So we need the knowledge of one's dharma. What is one's being given by the ninth house? Then we come to the difficult yet very philosophical question, compulsions on the mind created by karma. So there is dharma on one side. We've already, we will be talking a lot over the course of this, the Vedic course, because the whole of Jyotish Shastra, the ninth house, the dharma is extremely relevant. We are here because of our dharma on this, because some lifetimes we goofed up on our karma, and hence here we are to go through some of the compulsions of the mind. So what exactly in Sanskrit do we mean by the word karma? Everyone knows about karma. Oh, bad karma, this karma, that karma. But in Jyotish, we have a very, very clear guideline of karma. And here the word karma comes from the Sanskrit word karma, kri, to do, which means action, which means the results and fruits of one's actions ensues as well. So whatever acts we do, we have performed, whatever thoughts we have thought of, have created an impression, like an imprint on the mind. And this mind then will dictate our thoughts, and ultimately these thoughts will dictate the universe, our actions, what we do around in the universe. And as Jesus Christ rightly said, as you sow, so shall you reap. We all are familiar with that, and there's great truth in that. So here the karma, as per the Vedas, operates the law of cause and effect. Then this is also, that is our reaction, our action and reaction, it's like a cause and effect. They both go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other, and it governs our entire soul. So we talked about the mind, we talked a little bit about you, not yet, but we will eventually talk about the tattvas, or the 5 great elements and the gunas which create our body. And then we come to the soul, the Atman. Now, soul is a very kind of not a very good translation, English translation of the Atman, which is our soul, which is eternal. At some later stage, when you guys join the course, I will talk a lot about bringing the Atma. You know, we have a concept of the Atma Karaka. Atma Karaka in Vedic, in Jyotish, means the planet with the highest degrees, who represents your soul. And that degree, that planet with the highest degrees, will give you your soul karma on this planet for this lifetime. You know, so again, we are talking, so you see how the Vedic philosophy is so closely interlinked with Jyotish. So it is not just astrology, it is the Vedāṅga Jyotish. Vedāṅga, which is coming, one of the limbs of the Vedas, which is coming from the Vedas and the Vedantic philosophy. And so here we have heard the word samsara, right? So when we talk of the Atma, which is eternal, boundless, you know, it's consciousness itself, it is ultimately, it's the wheel of death that we go through in terms of our body. It's like removing clothes. You know, we remove clothes one lifetime and then go and wear another set of clothes, which is nothing our own body. Okay, the birth and death process, which is the wheel of samsara, you know, and the process of action and reaction happens on all levels, mind, body, soul, and that is what creates the karma. So if you're suffering, well, we are all suffering in one way or the other. And make no mistake, when we talk of karma, we are all suffering. This lifetime is all about suffering. So don't think like, wow, okay, I'm having a great period, I'm having a good transit. Wait a minute, that's an illusion. Yes, maybe it'll give you some, you know, good job, good money, you know, a birth of a child, but those are just peripheral things. They are just transitory, because the ultimate karma is for you to come here to suffer. And I know now it sounds like really dire, like, oh my God, I bet I'm not joining that course. You know, that sounds horrible. You know, who wants to know that? But hey, you want to know how much on your plate is the suffering this lifetime. Would you not know? So Adi Shankara, one of the greatest, he was supposed to be often said to be the incarnation of Lord Shiva himself. And one of the greatest Jagat Guru, Adi Shankara, he has said in Bhaja Govindam, which is a beautiful text, he says, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jathare Shayanam. Iha sansare bahudustare krupaya pare pahi murare. So here he's saying that punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, that is, we are born again, dying again. It's endless, the cycle. You can see in the image, what a beautiful you know, picturization of this imagery, that we are lying here in the mother's womb, and the samsara is extremely difficult to cross over. O destroyer of Murad, through your infinite compassion, take us out of this infinite, you know, being born again, lying in another woman's womb, another mother's womb. You know, we are like lifetime after lifetime. It's an endless process. So please take us out. What a beautiful, one of the most famous lines from the Bhaja Govindam. So here I'm bringing in, so when we talk of, so what's the way out about the karma? But first we have to understand what is karma. I mean, the Tattva Bodha, which is like one of the fantastic Vedantic texts, talks about, hey, Agama Kim, what kind of karma is Agama? So they have even classified the various kinds of karmas. You know, there are 3 kinds predominantly. There are many, but roughly speaking, as per the Tattva Bodha, it gives us 3 vital ones: Agami, Sanchita, and Prarabdha. So Agami karma kim. So what is the Agami karma? And he talks about Punya Papa. Punya is the good karmas, that is what you are on your plate, the goodness, the good things that do happen to you, which is coming from previous lifetimes, and the Papa karma, which is coming from previous lifetimes too, which is negative and evil. And it is done by the body. And for the jnani, after the arisal of knowledge, is Agami. So basically, the Agami karma is for this lifetime, even if whether you study spiritual texts, you do your mantras or not, how have you utilized your knowledge, whatever you know, in terms of improving your consciousness? How have you managed to control your mind? How disciplined have you been? Have you been as per your own dharma? Do you even know what your dharma is? That is all part of the Agami. It's ongoing. So whatever your thoughts, you may think, oh, I shouldn't really be doing this. I should really be getting up early in the morning. But, oh, I'm too lazy. I just want to stay in bed a little bit. That is all, ongoing thought processes, creating more karmas. That is all Agami karma. Okay. And the result, and of course, it is coming from the previous births too, but it is countless, because our thoughts are countless. It's crores and crores of lifetimes all saturated. That is part of the Sanchita karma. Okay, the Sanchita karma talks about the many, like it talks about the crores of lifetimes of accumulated karma. So that is all Sanchita. It is impossible to get rid of it in one lifetime. And then ultimately we come to the Prarabdha karma. What is Prarabdha karma? Prarabdha karma is something that you have to exhaust in this lifetime. You have to, and you typically, it may be in the form of suffering to the body, to the mind, to negative karmas. Maybe some lifetime you have been the father of your daughter, and you have mistreated your daughter really badly. You have neglected her. So this lifetime, your daughter now is your mother. And then you feel a real distance from the mother. You feel like the mother is really mean to you, and she's kind of maybe even abandoned you sometimes. And so what is that? That is Prarabdha karma. That means that you have this karma you have to go through. You cannot say, oh no, another time. No, you got to go through this suffering because you really, messed up last time. So that is Prarabdha. And often it may get exhausted just by going through it. But how do you go through it? That's where the Jyotish, the beauty of Jyotish comes in. The beauty of meditation comes in. The beauty of having the right discipline comes in, because the discipline is vital. It is at the heart of everything in Jyotish and Vedanta. It is where, how do you manage your mind? That's where the discipline comes in. But first you have to also manage your body. Are you able to abstain from certain foods? Are you able to abstain from certain diets? So all that is, so it's a vast study. It's a long journey, but it is well worth it if you want the results. And then we have the Sanchita karma, which I said, I spoke about the Agami, the Prarabdha, and the Sanchita. Now, how do we get rid of these karmas? One lifetime, I want to destroy all my karmas. Sure, you can. It is clear. It is given in the Vedas, even in the Bhagavad Gita, in the later chapters, chapter 9 onwards, he talks about that a lot. He talks about that, hey, you just remember Vasudeva, be with Vasudeva all the time, and you will be able to get rid of many, many karmas. So that is a part of the whole course, where does the karma lie and things like that. So the sanchita karma gets destroyed by the clear knowledge that I am indeed the Brahman. So sanchita karma has been accumulated. It's like little, it's like these layers and layers and layers of thick mud, which is like you're just embroiled into it and you can't get out. But through clear knowledge, you are indeed have a great soul connection, Atma connection with Vasudev or Brahman or Sadashiva, and then the Sanchita karma can kind of loosen up. But for that, you have to do, like I said, the discipline, lifestyle, meditation. It's a whole package deal. It's not just one thing. Oh, I'm just going to sit, I'm going to give up everything, all my duties, everything, forget about my child, and I'm going to just pursue moksha, pursue, spirituality and get rid of. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to stay in your dharma. You cannot just give up everything and say, that's my dharma. Maybe for some people it is, but those are very enlightened masters. That's a different path. And I'm not there. We are not there just yet. The agami karma also gets destroyed by knowledge. So here we are talking of Tattva Bodha is alluding to very vital, important pointers. It's saying basically through knowledge, through being, having some connection, that connection with a jnani, like the water that obtains on the lotus leaf, you have to have some kind of connection to the knowledge and it will get destroyed. That is the main idea of the ongoing karma. So the ongoing karmas are agamis that, it can prevent through knowledge and through meditation, through lifestyle changes. You can alter your ongoing karmas to make it a little bit better, kind of change a corner or turn a corner, as they say. Now, ultimately, the Shruti says, again, we are continuing with the Tattva Bodha, we are saying the one who knows the self crosses the sorrow and gains here itself the limitlessness that is Brahman. So the word Brahman is, we will listen to, come to it later, but essentially we are all connected to Sadashiva or Brahman, the one source, Supreme Lord. And through knowledge, through self-realization, we can come to know the Brahman. That is what the Bhagavad Gita is all about. It is ultimately about self-realization. It is a text on your own dharma. What is your dharma? What are you? What is your soul ultimately about? What are you here to do? So this is the big things, the big philosophy which it is answering. But you may well say, but again, how is this all relevant to my life, to my day-to-day living? But it is, because it's giving you a broader spectrum. It's giving you the larger picture. Without the larger picture, you cannot do anything. You can well solve your, oh, I've got hurt, I've got an operation for my left foot. Sure, you can manage that through some things, but that is kind of a symptomatic cure. What the cure that you're looking for is the big picture about your soul, about your life. And that is what the Jyotish will give you. I think AKSHAT is here. AKSHAT?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, hello. This is AKSHAT. So he is our coordinator, as well as our remedial consultant. And yes. Absolutely. So the key remedial consultant. So so here, like I said, here we can go on and on about the karma theory, about who is the Jivan Mukta, how do we liberate ourselves from and move to one notch up. So these ideas of Vedas and the Vedanta is not just some kind of like out there spirituality, put it in a box and take it away. No, it is very relevant. You know, you may think it is not, but it absolutely is. And that is why our connection with Vedāṅga Jyotish, because it will give us a pointer to our inherent problems, our inherent karmas that we are going through, that we will go through, that we have to go through, you know, and which sphere it will come in, and as well as the poison and the solution. So it is both. The solution, the strength, it is there. Every chart, every Vedic chart has also the strength given by the Brahman, by Brahma, by Vasudeva, whatever you want to call it, it is given to us, okay? And that will liberate us. That will make us the Jivan Mukta. What is Jivan Mukta? What is Tattva Bodha talking about? You know, somebody, and there's a very famous text called I Am Not That, you know, and this is a whole philosophy, the Hindu philosophy. I'm not this, I'm not that. So I'm not my body. I'm not my, you know, the roles that I play. I'm not the father. I'm not the son. I'm not, you know, there is a whole belief system that I'm the body, I'm the male, I'm the Brahmin, I'm the Shudra, but then it negates. You have to start saying, I'm not that. So I am that, yet I am not that. You see, it is a two-way street. So there is multifacets to us, to our soul, our Atma. Now, soul, like I said, is a very terrible translation, English translation for Atman, because Atman is eternal. So that is what our journey is as a Jivan Mukta. That is, we have to liberate ourselves from this, I am this, I am that, to I am not a male, to I'm not attached to, I'm not a Shudra. And I am ultimately, my nature is Satchit Ananda, which is the self-effulgent. That is, I am eternal consciousness. I am the eternal Brahman. That is our journey. And that is where the Jyotish will come into the picture, because it will give us a very clear idea of where our karmas lie. And Akshat will tell you that. Akshat?
Yes.
Don't
I
sleep.
think everybody, I'm not sleeping. Actually, I'm just listening to your fantastic theory of Tattva Bodha. And I think everybody will be knowing a lot about karma, and they'll be hearing what is karma actually. So when they start studying Vedāṅga Jyotish, okay. So what is happening? We see different types of karma. What is asanchita karma? So when you, I hope you guys study further, and when you reach to the level, when you started studying D60, that is Sashriyamsha, you will be able to see what are the accumulated karma that you are going to have and you are having, or what burden you are going to see. Now we are talking about Prarabdha karma, actions that are going to happen. Now this can be seen in a very specific chart, which is called Jagannath Deshkana. What karma of your previous you're going to experience in this lifetime. And then we have Agami karma. Now this is actually, this is coming from the 6th house. Okay, 6th house, 10th house, and 11th house, that we have the choice whether to go good or bad, to accumulate good karma or bad karma. So you're going to learn about this. How do we use the specific horoscope to see that what type of work, what type of karma, what type of dharma we are going to do, and how we can remedy it. Okay, suppose some person is having something trouble, so we can see what type of problem he is having and what is the particular karma related to that house. Is everybody getting my point?
You can unmute yourselves, guys.
Yeah, you can unmute. And
I believe we're getting your point. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Suppose somebody is having a problem from health. Okay. From health, that is the lagna. Then we have to see that what type of things we can see. That every house in the horoscope has a karma, because in each and every house we see the 10 from it. Okay. Now, so if somebody is having a lot of problems, we have to go and see, okay, in this Jagannath Dreshkan, oh, what is the Prarabdha karma, whether he is born to suffer like this, or how which can change. Okay, then we can see the D60. So these are very advanced topics as you linger into the subject of Jyotish. Okay, because these philosophies are actually given in the beginning so that you understand how the things or how the actions are manifesting inside you. Each and every karma manifests with your thought. You have thought it and you have started manifesting that karma. So each and everything is interlinked. Everything is starting with your mind. So first you have to think of that action, then you execute.
Yeah.
The moment you have thought something of an action, that karma is started to manifest. It can be a bad thing, it can be a good thing. Karma is just what you are going to do. There can be positive karma. Punya and papa are based on the derivations of karma, what type of karma, or what is the quality of karma you're doing. Okay, so everybody is born over here. Everybody has done some things that the person has to suffer in this life, because we are born with the karma indriyas. What are the karma indriyas? They are the 5 sense organs that we have, that we are experiencing the world through this. We become sorrow, we feel something, we see something bad, we hear something bad, we speak something bad. So these are the things that we are experiencing through our sense organs, and that is called the karma indriyas, and that is how we are experiencing our life.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay.
let's move forward. Oops. Okay. So how do we manage this karma, and how does it manifest? Now, our main source for all our Jyotish, Vedāṅga Jyotish knowledge is from the great Rishi Muni Parāśara. And this is from the 2nd chapter. Okay. And basically, he talks about that the grahas, when we talk of the graha means planets, incarnate as a succession of eminent births whose purpose is to destroy the strength of the demons, enhance the strength of the gods, and re-establish dharma. So we have now again that word dharma. So do you see how the whole Bhagavad Gita philosophy, the Vedantic philosophy, is connected with dharma? And do you see, when Parāśara is talking about the demons, he's talking about the demons not outside, it's within us. He's talking of the evil which lurks within us. We are multifaceted human beings. We have all sorts of things churning with us. Given our thoughts, one thought pops into our head, another thing goes, and another thought pops in. We are literally like lost souls, and that's what Parāśara is saying, that all these grahas manifest through us, through our kendras, through our the 4 angular houses. And the dharma is a natural law that ensures that life progresses to the greater levels of fulfillment, which we saw earlier, through that Bhagavad Gita chapter 2. So
Yes.
now
See,
this is a very fundamental, Akshat, you can talk about,
Dharma has nothing to do with any of the religion, actually. Okay, dharma, you can just simply put, is what is the dharma? Dharma is simply your duty. As a mother, she has a duty to raise her child. So that is her matri dharma. Okay, when this is trying to have dharma is something that what duty which is given to us and how we are going to fulfill that duty. If we fulfill that duty, we are going to achieve success in life. Okay, a soldier who is posted in a war and he's killing someone inside of battle in a war, and he's doing his dharma, so he's not going to suffer for that, because that is his duty assigned to him. As a teacher, Sonal has a dharma to teach and to impart knowledge to her students, so that is the duty. As long as you are doing that duty that is assigned to you, you are following your dharma. Dharma does not mean that, oh, you have to go to a place of worship, sit and do this or do that. Dharma means that what duty is there in front of you, you have to take up that duty, fulfill that responsibility. Parents fulfill the duty towards the children, children fulfills the duty towards the parents when they grow old. So this is all a part, everybody is fulfilling their duty, their dharma. That is why we are born, because everybody has a specific dharma. There are 12 houses in the horoscope, and each house has a specific dharma for us to fulfill, and we are fulfilling that dharma. We might fail in few houses, or there is a problem, or there's something problem. That means that you are failing. There's some problem with the dharma of that house, or we are failing to do that duty.
Okay, So here we are introducing a very fundamental concept, that our life is like a pivot. Remember earlier I said that there are 4 Vedas, and the 4 in the Bhagavad Gita, the chapter 2, the verse, I think it was, I forget the verse 34 or something, but there it talked about the Swadharma, the 4 different dharmas. And there was mention of 4, the word dharma was mentioned 4 times, and when we talk about the Swadharma, we are talking of the 4 Kendras, the 4 fundamental Vedas, which ground us, because through the knowledge itself that we are able to ground ourselves. That is the whole purpose of the Kendras. So they are like the 4 pillars of our horoscope. And literally they're the foundation stones. And without those, and without, if it is anything, if there are too much of maleficence on it, or too much of problems with it, then that particular house is going to crumble. And that is what we have to take care. It's like taking care on a very soul level, investing in ourselves, our Swadharma, that is to find out A, what is our karma fundamentally, and B, what is the discipline, what is the lifestyle we need to take care of the negativity so that we can remain stable. And
yes,
when
without your dharma, you cannot fulfill your karma.
Yeah.
See, from the point of Jyotish, dharma is coming from the 9th house and karma is in the 10th house. So first you have to enter in the 9th house, see what duty you have to fulfill and perform, and then you go in the 10th house and you perform that duty. Okay, this is from any house that you can take it. I'm taking on from the ascendant. Okay, that is Swadhara, that is the duty of yourself. That is your dharma, which is in the 9th house. Okay. Then you're going in the 10th house and you are fulfilling that duty in the 10th house. In the 11th house, you are getting the paid for what duty you have done. Is it a payment? It is a good payment, or you're getting punished, or you're getting praise for it, or you're getting punished for it. 11th house can be both. And in the 12th house, you are going to see that, okay, you are going away to the Vishnu or the Supreme Lord, whether you're going to away or you're going to come back. So this is the cycle from the 9th house to the 12th house that it is going. In the 9th house, you see what duty you have to perform. In the 10th house, you perform that duty. In the 11th house, you'll get you get the results of the duty, whether you're going to get good results or bad, because 11th house is your gains, your income. It is based on the work you do. Okay. And in the 12th, is it you are giving away or you're going to Vishnu, whether you are pure enough, or have you fulfilled your duty and you are able to cross over to the other side or become a Jivan Mukta or not, or whether you're going to come back. So then the 12th house comes. This is the houses that come from 9 to 12. This is how the things manifest. And you will come to say these are one of the very important houses, 9th house, 10th house, and 11th house, and 12th house, as created for dharma, for your soul, for your mind. These are the houses that are actually very, very crucial, and it plays in Vedic astrology.
Absolutely.
So here is the house of judgment.
Sorry?
Yeah.
So is the 12th house the house of judgment?
The 12th house is the house where you go, is the house of going away. Okay, the 12th, see, our whole life has been engrossed into 12 houses. Each houses represent multiple things. The 12th house is also the house of marriage. It is also the house of losses. It is also the house of giving away. It is also the house of sleeping. It is also the house of blood pressure. You have to choose. You have to choose what type of work we are doing in the 12th house. Okay.
I mean,
every house, there are multiple aspects. Okay, because each in the life is, when life manifested, it has become so complex that each and every house represents multiple things.
Absolutely. And the Vedic view is,
everybody has a 12th house, but everybody has a different way of sleeping.
Yeah.
Just for example, 12th house is also sleeping. 12th house is also your bed.
And 12th house is also the house of spirituality. Ultimately, it is the place where we all end up. Yeah. And the significator for the 12th house are quite a few. There is Saturn as a significator. There is Venus as a significator where it rules the bed pleasures, and the quality of sleep. And it is a Ketu, south node of the moon, is also the significator of the 12th house. It is the Moksha Karaka, as we will see in the myth coming now when we talk about that, the Samudra Manthan, where the role of Ketu, the Rahu and Ketu, the points, the mathematical points are absolutely crucial for our karma, manifesting our karma in this lifetime. So the 12th house is a very vital house. It is a Vishnu sthana. It is the feet of Vishnu. Ultimately, this is where we are going, at the feet of Vishnu. When we die, this is a Paramam Padam of Vishnu. The Vishnu, when he took 3 steps, and it is the ultimate Paramam Padam of Vishnu. And so the 12th house is ultimately where we have to land up. All of us will land up there, So
how does it express itself on the ascendant, the point of transformation?
Sorry?
How does that express itself on the ascendant, the point of transformation?
Because our mind is born in the 12th house.
Let me see that. Let me tell you that. Why 12th house is most important. Either the 12th house is making sure that you go away, or 12th house is giving way to your lagna. Your point of creation is your ascendant. Okay. Whether you will be created again, or whether you will become salvation, you have moksha, or you go into the Vishnu.
And if you go to Vishnu, is that expressed on the chart?
Pardon? Your voice is very low.
Oh, sorry. If you're going to the Vishnu, is that expressed on the chart?
Yeah, it's expressed on the chart, but we have to see the 12th house from where? Because from the lagna, we are seeing the body. The body is not going to the Vishnu. The soul is going to the Vishnu.
And can that be seen on the chart?
Yeah, that can be seen on the chart. You will read, when we go for more about spirituality, the sutra is Sa Ishte Bandhan Moksha. So when you worship your Ishtadevta, then you will be able to go to Vishnu. Okay, these are very advanced levels. Because
they are advanced levels.
Because you see, at the beginner level, we are going to make sure we are going to teach you the Jyotish of the body.
I mean, there is a whole...
Then there's a Jyotish of the mind.
Yeah.
There's a Jyotish of the soul.
And when we talk of the soul, and when we
and sun, and lagna is your point of creation, lagna is your body, moon represents your mind, and sun represents your soul.
Yeah, we'll come to that, Akshat. We are coming to all the planets. Yeah, I think we are going to have we are going to have a very, very we'll probably have to extend this session next time.
Jyotish is equally for material life also, and for spiritual life.
Yeah. So
in future, you're going to learn Jyotish, and a person comes to you for marriage. So you have to tell him something for the material. Oh, this is how you're going to get married. And a person comes to you, oh, I want to go into spirituality. So you'll be able to tell this, you do this thing so you can increase your spirituality.
Absolutely.
12th house is your ultimate direction, because 12th house represents your feet. You can't be anywhere without your feet. Where your feet will take you will go there, right? We walk on our feet. Feet is the first thing that enters.
We will also introduce the, when you see the Kal Purusha, which is the Vitruvian man, or, or you will see in that concept that, that the feet are ultimately mapped to the 12th house, which is a natural sign Pisces, right? Dancing feet, that connection. When you think of the Western astrology, they were right. There is a sense of that, absolutely. But the concept, the Vedic goes even quite a few thousand steps ahead, because the 12th house is also your Ishtadevta in the 9th harmonic chart. And that is, Ishta is your special deity. When you pass away, when the minute you die, there is someone who will come to get your soul. And that is very easily seeable. It's you can see it, who's overlooking you, who will come to get you just by your 9th harmonic chart, which is called the Navamsh chart. So you see, I'm taught this is a lifetime, as B.V. Raman, the great Indian Jyotish and Vedic astrologer said, that Jyotish, Vedāṅga Jyotish is not one lifetime study. It's many, many lifetime study. And believe you me, when I say that, because this is vast, this is not just connected to a single chart. We read many, the 16 divisional charts, but there is so many ways of it. And it's so intertwined. The philosophy is intertwined, but it gives you ultimately a very clear picture of your karmas and where you're heading. So at the end of it, there will be things that you can manifest. It all depends on what it is that you want to manifest, So anyway, coming back to the pillars, the 4 kendras or the pillars, they are literally the angular houses. Dharma is the very first one. Obviously, it's the sun rises. The sun is the giver of all the wealth, your intelligence, your viveka. The Surya, when the sun is rising in the east, it is absolutely superb, beautiful. It's how you are. It's you wake up, you're off to work and all of that. That is your dharma. You follow it, follow the sun for your dharma, That's why people with sun on their ascendant or lagna have a very strong sense, always nudging them of a unique spiritual path, So, and the sun is also the karaka or the significator for the first house, the lagna. So there is a very strong dharma attached to the sun. It is your conscious soul. And this includes duties, this, that. So the trines to dharma, as we have seen earlier, is 159, the fire trines, because the Agni or the fire upholds everything. It gives you, it shows you direction. It shows you insights. It gives you light. It channels you. It shows you the path. Imagine if you're in the dark, there's nothing to see. You can't see. So it is only through Agni, through fire, which gives light, which will show you the direction, what is right for you, So hence the 159 are the dharma bhavas. And the first house is the dharma, the fundamental pillar for dharma.
Progress.
I'm sorry for that.
Sorry, guys. Okay. Then we have the artha, which means the the 4th house. The 4th house is the moksha house, but the artha house is the second. As we see, the artha house is the 2, 6, and 10, which is the natural Taurus house, which is a very, very, very strong, what you put in your mouth, what you feed yourself, this is all kind of very material, it's very much sort of mud, and Prithvi Tattva is very, very strong. And the trines to that is the 6th house and the 10th house. And that's your karma bhava is connected to your artha. So, so that is to do with your artha. And kama bhava is our desires. It's the 3rd house. The first kama bhava is the 3rd house. It's the mithuna bhava. When you guys enroll in the course, you will find that the 3rd house, the Naisargika 3rd house, is very different to the Western 3rd house, where it is like, wow, communication, Gemini, it's a beautiful, they are like, quite, flitting from one thing to another. But in Vedic point of view, the Mithuna Bhava, the 3rd house, is a Dushchikya Bhava. It is our mind, where our thoughts are generated. If you have too many malefic influences on the 3rd house, then your mind is constantly in turbulence and it is willing to fight for everything. But that is not what the nature of man is. We are not meant to fight constantly in our head. So there is a problem. If there is a problem in the 3rd house, then your mind is constantly at war. And hence the karaka for the 3rd house is also Mars. I can go on and on about the 3rd house, but here we are restricting ourselves to the third house, seventh house, and the 11th house, which are the air trines. So the Mithuna Bhava is also where our desires for copulation comes in, you know, that. So again, it goes first, the desire is created in the mind, which is the third house. So it's totally different interpretation to the Western astrology, you know. And the seventh is the first the angular house under the Kama Bhava. That is where we are desiring things, you know. So that is our passion. So it's the angular house. Hence, it's to do with our business. And it's also the house of war, to be honest. Love and war, as they say, all's fair in that. So that is all to do with the Kama house, the seventh house. So that is one of the great pillars. And then ultimately, we come to the fourth house, which is the Moksha Bhava, which is the water house, the water trines. It is first of the water trines, which is the Sukha Bhava. Sukha in Sanskrit literally means happiness. Growing up, what made us happy? The embrace of the mother, just holding the mother, holding us, and our connection, our soul connection with the mother. All that is all the fourth house. It is also the house of the mother. Again, unlike the Western, where the fourth house, there's a lot of division within the astrologer community, whether the fourth house is the house of the father or the house of the mother. The Vedic is very clear. It is a Sukha Bhava. It is our deep buried happiness. So God help you if you have malefics in the fourth house. They really, I mean, you really need to ask God for help, because your happiness as a very infant is completely destroyed. And you don't even know it, because a child cannot fully express itself. So the fourth house becomes a very, very important house. And hence, it is also the Moksha Bhava. When we talk of moksha, we are talking of liberation, self-realization. We are going on a path. So the trines of that, the 4th, 8th, and the 12th are the 3 trinals to it, which is the 3 water houses, the natural house of Scorpio. So once we have figured out how happy we are, what is my happiness? Hey, am I really happy? Maybe not. How do we go about transforming ourselves? That's the 8th house of Scorpio. There is no sign and no house that can transform as much as the 8th house, 8th lord, or the sign of Scorpio. Okay, that is the fundamental. Sorry.
And the 12th in relationship to the 8th in terms of transformation.
Yes, and ultimately our moksha is possible. The feet of Vishnu will come to get us on his great mighty celestial bird Garuda. He will come to get us in the 12th house once we pass away in the 12th house. So that is our ultimate aim. So that is why in the Shastras, the Vedic literature, all the fundamental thing, including the Bhagavad Gita, have said our ultimate aim, as we saw earlier, is our soul connection, self-realization to the Brahman, the Supreme Lord. Okay, so that is the 12th house we are talking about. So this is a very complex and a very sophisticated system.
Yes.
This is not something, you just look at a chart on your phone and say, this one will do. But of course, you can do that too. I'm not saying that you can't.
Over a period of time, you will be able to do that.
Then the question becomes, what about people who have NDEs, near-death experiences, where the person who comes and get them is someone that they either know, identify, a family member, as opposed to the greater Lord Vishnu?
It's okay. Okay. See what is happening. What is the 4th house? 4th house is just not happiness. How you get your happiness? Okay. Vishnu can be in the form of anybody. What is the first thing that you learn? Can anybody answer that? What was the first thing that you learned in life?
Identification of the parents.
Yeah, the identification of the mother. And from the mother, you learn your mother tongue. That is the first thing that the child starts learning, right? The fourth house is the house of knowledge. From fourth house, you achieve your knowledge. Then you go to the eighth house, you transform yourself, and then you go to the 12th house. Without knowledge, fourth house is just happiness. But with knowledge, you will know where to go.
And then you go to the ascendant.
Yeah. Yeah.
To complete the journey.
Yeah, complete from the see, we are looking at the why fourth house is called the moksha trikon. Right. Why the trikon means a triangle. Fourth, eighth, and 12th houses are forming a triangle that is called moksha trikon, or the triangle of salvation. Okay. Why the fourth house is given so much of importance is called the moksha trikon house? Because fourth house, when you have knowledge, you will have purity. Because from fourth house, you have to become pure from the heart. Fourth house is also heart. Remember this. Okay. Fourth house is your mother. Fourth house is your purity. Fourth house is your heart. Fourth house is happiness. So many things are coming from the fourth. And fourth house is your home also, where you feel safe. So many things are coming from the fourth house. But the first thing we have to see that fourth house is the house of mother. For how fourth house is the house of purity. When a baby is born, the baby cannot clean itself. It's the mother who cleans it. Every day she cleans the baby, she makes so cleanliness is coming from the fourth house. From cleanliness, we having the knowledge. We have the knowledge, we clean our karma. We go to the eighth house. How we are cleaning our karma? Because through transformation, we are cleaning ourselves in the eighth house. Because eighth house is also the washroom, or the washroom where you go to clean yourself. And then you go to the 12th, to the Vishnu. Because if you are unclean, you cannot go to the divine.
And
it's a very complex system.
Which would basically be the physical body, right?
No, it's not just.
We are talking, when you're talking about happiness, your heart, your mom, then we are seeing it talking about the physical body. Okay. Now, when we're talking about knowledge, cleanliness, and going to Vishnu, then we're talking at the soul level. Everybody, it's very easy to clean the body. It's very, very difficult to clean the mind. And it's extremely difficult to clean the soul.
Remember, we started with the Bhagavad Gita, the verse where we started saying
the body.
Our thoughts
you can take a bath.
Yeah. And
how to clean your mind? You can train, you can meditate, you can train your mind to focus. And how do you clean your soul? Is through knowledge.
Yeah. So remember, it's a whole progression. Yeah. So there is a lot of knowledge in the water trines, which is a fourth house, eighth house, where we transform, and ultimately the feet of Vishnu, where he will come to get us on his Garuda. That is his great celestial bird. Now, that is the whole journey, okay? But somewhere along, most of us are somewhere in the process of in one of these houses. So, our journey ultimately is to stabilize our mind, as we saw in the very first from the chapter 2, about the thoughts through discipline and through sort of proper channeling of the mind, and staying with our dharma, recognizing what our karma is, what is our sanchita karma, what is our prarabdha karma. The prarabdha karma, that means what we have to do this lifetime, we have to go through. But our attitude will change everything. It's a game changer. If we say, okay, I have to, I have got this hurt, I've got this chronic illness or whatever. Okay, maybe through my mind and through meditation, I can manage at least some of my attitude and make little marginal changes to my towards this suffering that I am facing, which I have to go through. Then maybe something will shift, And once that consciousness shifts, then everything, it's a game changer. Then we can let go of some of the suffering. And that is our journey through the Jyotish, that where is our heavy karma? Where is our soul full muddied, and that is the cleansing part we are talking about,
To create that shift, right? You're basically moving through a trinity, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
It has to go to the eighth house. Everybody has to go to the eighth house.
Where each segment of it is separated by a very thin veil.
Yes.
So how do you
Totally.
integrate those
That is what
areas to know where to make the shift, whether it be in the physical body, the meditation?
It's never in the
mind?
physical body. It's never in the physical body. Okay.
Well,
See what is
herbs and
happening. You
stuff-
cannot transform yourself physically. You cannot, oh, I have broken my hand. Physical transformation is different. This is the transformation of the mind and the soul when we're talking about Vishnu. Okay.
Not to contradict you, but just to say that wouldn't that be the role of health? To
No,
transform
no.
the body? No.
Transform the body, yes. When you started transforming, but that means that the body is transforming. So physical body is not transforming. When physical body is transformed through the 8th house, that is through Mangal, a person who gets amputated and his body is transformed. Okay. See, the body is created by the Brahma. The body is going to die in this plane. It is not going to, only transformation is that it's going to degrade. We are talking about the purity of the soul over here.
And
We are
what
there
you
at different levels.
I think, and
Remember
Todd,
this.
one sec, and Todd, what you are probably referring to is like, how do you take care of the body? And that comes under the purview of Ayurveda. And of course, Jyotish has a lot of insights on, right foods to eat and all that kind of thing. And that also we will cover. And in fact, Parāśara is one of the greatest things is that there is a very clear guideline and a definitive view that each of the grahas, like the sun rules the bones, so if you strengthen the sun by eating the right foods of the sun, for example, honey, manuka honey is fantastic if you want to strengthen your sun. If you have a debilitated sun, strengthen the sun. So those are some of the things that Jyotish attempts to solve. So it is a multifaceted approach. One is the body level, another one which actually manifests, the other one is on a karmic soul level, and on a mind level, and as an intellectual level as well. And then there are other remedies ultimately for the soul. At the age of 75, you're not going to say, hey, whom am I going to marry? Well, unless you are, director or CEO of Playboy magazine, you're not going to say that, So it's horses for courses at what point in life you are. And all these purusharthas that I'm talking about, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, they are also the grihastha. And as a child, we are meant to study, so that comes under the dharma and artha. So all we have separate ages of planets too, which are appropriate to do certain things. So like in the Vedic culture, there was a very clear guideline that after grahastha is nothing but where you are, earning money and, fulfilling your desires, which is a combination of artha and kama. For ultimately, after the age of 70, which is the Saturn's natural age, we go towards moksha. We are going towards the moksha. That is, we are going into a much more spiritual path, much more spiritual knowledge orientated path. So that has already been described and prescribed in the Manu Smriti, the very first man. It's like an equivalent of Adam and Eve, at least Adam for sure. So that is how the Vedic, it is a very sturdy philosophy, very coming down for thousands and thousands of years. So, and it's unquestionable. That is the ethos in it is unquestionable. It is just a question of how much are we willing to give in terms of learning. That is all it asks of. But anyway, I think we may be running out of time. So
yes, because you see, this is just a beginning.
Yeah.
When you build as a Jyotish, a good Jyotish, that who can see different layers in a certain house. You will able to identify, oh, this is going to affect the body, or this is going to affect the mind, or this is going to affect the soul of the karmic thing. Okay.
Yeah.
This is just a beginning. So you are going to stick to the body level. First see that fourth house, from there is the mother and the heart. Then come to know that from fourth house is happiness, that is at the mind level. Okay. Then you come to say that from fourth house comes knowledge also, that is at the soul level. That is the knowledge of the soul. Okay.
Yeah.
On the physical level, the fourth house is only your preliminary studies till your high school. Okay. Okay. That is how you're going to, you have to distinguish between which type of levels you're doing. Okay. Suppose you're doing someone's chart and he has a physical problem with the heart. So you're going to see the fourth house in terms of the physical manifestation of the body, where the fourth lord is placed, how the things are happening. The fourth house, why he's having a problem in the chest or the heart region, that is also the fourth house. If he has a problem with the mother, then you're going to see how is the relationship in the fourth house in that mental level, because your relationship with people is determined by your mind.
So here, like Akshat, like here, it is very clear, you know, for everyone, all of you, that the first house is our viveka, our intelligence, our buddhi, and the overseer lord is Ganesh. And that is why, and later we will see, I've got slides prepared, and we will have to do this session, a part 2 next week, maybe in the evening, because some of the Americans can then join us. But essentially, the part 2, we will go into much more in depth about how each of the grahas or the planets manifests, and how the 10 avatars of Vishnu are mapped to the grahas. Okay. So, but for now, you have to understand that the first house in, unlike the Western astrology, which is also like predominantly the body, this is also your deep intelligence, your discriminating power, your viveka. So aspects on this first house will influence your, what kind of tattva it is, because each of the great elements is mapped to the grahas, the planets as well. So that will also have a huge role to play. And this is also mapped to the chakras, because remember, the grahas manifest, all the elements manifest through the grahas, and the grahas manifest to give us our karma. And these karmas ultimately are, you know, have an influence on all the chakras in the body. And the grahas reside also in our body. So they are just not, you know, like somewhere in the sky. They have a direct influence and a say in our being. And so similarly, the very first Cancer house, which is the house of the fourth house, is also the Shuddhi, that is clarity and purity. And it also gives us the vehicle, like the Ganesh. The Ganesh's vehicle is nothing but Mushchika, you know. And one of the divisional charts, we have one of the divisional charts in Vedic, which gives us, you know, the fourth house of property and vehicles, and all of that is depicted, you know. So there is a vast study just to see, hey, what kind of property will you live in? You know, what kind of, because the fourth house is also the house of properties and reality and, you know, real estate, you know. So how happy we are in our home, you know, it is a big question for us. You know, will you be able to afford to buy a house? Maybe you're forced to sell the house. So all that is a vast study, and that comes under the fourth house, and which is the first cardinal water trine house, you know. So the concept of Shuddhi or purity in Sanskrit, as they call it, that is how clean is our heart to make us feel happy about things. Are we fundamentally happy? Sorry?
How clean is our water?
Yes, fantastic. Absolutely. How clean is our water?
Yes, you're getting the point. Yes, water is the blessed cleanser. So how
absolutely. That's why in the Vedic, when we do any puja or any thing, water is one of the first things we, and even in like Christians, when we go to the church, they sprinkle water over you. Why? Even in India, you know, somebody comes in when we have ceremonies and all, water, they with rose water, they bless you. We have like very beautiful like instruments where with a little, like, like a shower fountain and a beautiful silver base, like a peacock, and we fill it up with rose water. And in marriages and in very traditional ceremonies, we always sprinkle water whoever comes in the first. And that is because of this reason, because it's like how clean you need to cleanse your water, and that little drop on your face will literally put you in another space. And that is a power of the fourth house, the power of Cancer, the sign of Cancer, Karkata as we call it. So, and then the seventh house is all about Vriddhi, which is the sign of Libra. People say, oh, Libra is beautiful. Like often in Western as a Western astrologer, you will say, oh, Libra is all about balance. Indeed. But hey, make no mistake, there is no fighter as a Libra. Okay, if you're Libra rising, you will beat Scorpios, you will beat all the Mangal ruled people, all the Aries, you'll beat black and blue, because that is the power of Libra. It is a force of nature. It is where and they are all only interested in, show me the money, show me what I can sell, show me the markets. That is the power of Libra. And hence Saturn exalts in the sign of Libra. Why? Because only for this reason, because somebody has to keep the accounting sheet, the balance, otherwise Libra will get so, Venus as a ruler, she will get so ambitious, so greedy. I want more and more. The desires are endless, and hence Saturn has to have that cap, has to have that equanimity, the balance to cap it. And that is the seventh house. And hence it shows us the vriddhi, the growth, the increase. Wife number 1, wife number 2, wife number 3. I'm just joking, okay?
That's the house of decapitation, right?
So then we come finally to the 10th house, the siddhi, where it is our karma, the natural Naisargika Capricorn, the Makar, where our heavy karmas lie. What are we born here to do? The 10th house, the 10th Lord, it'll give you the Siddhi. Siddhi means knowledge and the skills, expertise in one sphere, okay? So here you can see that Lord Ganesh has got 2 wives. One is Vriddhi and wife number 2 is called Siddhi. So you can see this classic by Ravi Raj Varma, the classic depiction of Lord Ganesh. And then his Mushchika, or his little mouse, his mouse is the 4th house, depicting clarity, the Vahana, the vehicle on which he travels. And you may well ask, well, but that's a story for another time, that wow, such a big Ganesh, and he's got that little mouse as his vehicle. Yes, indeed, that mouse has got a lot of power, as we will see later. So anyway, guys, I think we have a lot to cover. We have the planets and everything. So, and we also haven't even touched upon the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean, which is one of the greatest for delivery of karmas. Why Rahu and Ketu, which is the nodes of the moon, Shani, which is Saturn, and Mars, all the 4 heavy duty malefics give us all the problems and anxieties, and they are the bane of our lives. But how we can work around that, because this churning of the ocean is the churning within us. It's happening at our soul level, at our mind level, okay? So we will see this next time. Now, can everybody tell me if this timing is okay for you guys? Because I think, or maybe we should do it later, because some of the Americans can join us. Yeah, go, feel free to unmute yourselves, and yeah.
This time is fine for me. Anytime,
Are you based in the UK, Antot?
I'm in New York.
Okay. So what's the time there then?
The time now is 7:25 a.m.
Ah, so you're early bird then.
We started at 6, yes.
Yes. Wow.
6
Okay.
New York time.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because maybe we can do a slightly later on a Saturday.
Yeah.
let's-
The
yeah,
West Coast would be coming in. For the West Coast, it would be very
yeah,
terribly
exactly. That's what,
early.
because
Yeah, it would be
yeah,
4 in the
because
morning.
absolutely, because I got a few people asking me,
3.
hey, we can't join,
In the morning.
blah blah blah, and so I was like, okay, you know what, next time let's do this. I think because my material is quite a lot, um and so I think for next time we will probably leave it at around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock UK. What about you, Akshat? Because it
I'm
will
fine.
be like 9 o'clock in India. It won't be that late, not that terribly late. Is that okay? 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And maybe for you it will be 3 hours later. So for you it's 7:30. So around 10:30 in the morning, 10:30, 11 in the morning, I'm taught, New York.
Yes, that would be good, and that will also give people on the West Coast an opportunity to come in.
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely.
That's a good Libra balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Using the sword.
Yeah, so is
Sorcery.
anybody have any questions? So just to give you a short introduction, Akshat, as I said, Akshat Pandey, that's Akshat Pandey here. And he is part of our Jyotish Parampara, coming from the Sri Achyutananda Das, and which so both of us have been students for Mantra Shastra, which is the knowledge of mantras, as well as the Jaimini astrology, which is Maharishi Jaimini, which is a completely different to Parāśara. It is more in the form of sutras. So we are enrolled in the Parāśara course, as well as we are part of the Jaimini and the Mantra Shastra course with our Guru Pandit Sanjay Rath. And as well as that, we have most of our inspiration for putting together this fundamental course is to also do, because we have been studying a lot from the Garuda Purāṇas, from all the various Puranas. As you can see, the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedantic philosophy, and all that. I also formally study the Vedas, the Vedanta, with my teacher from who's a direct disciple of Dayanand Saraswati from Arshavidya. So I am quite enthusiastic, I would say, would be an understatement. I mean, I love this, I absolutely adore anything to do with and right from like the Vedas and the Vedanta, and merging it with the Jyotish. But I also have a background, surprisingly, of in terms of the Vedic, the Western astrology, because that is how I began 20 years ago with Liz Green, studying under her the Center of Psychological Astrology. So I am not new to Western astrology, so I can understand most of the stuff of Western, and I did do a little bit of Hellenistic and traditional along the way. So I absolutely adore both. I do use the tropical zodiac. So it's not like, oh no tropical. I'm not like that. I love my teacher, Liz Green. I also do tarot with Liz and Juliet Sharman-Berg, their own mythic tarot. So there is everything to do with the 8th house and Scorpio. And as you may have guessed, I'm Scorpio rising too. So that's my journey. And while Akshat is Aries rising. So Akshat, do you want to say a bit?
Yeah, I've been practicing from 7 years Vedic Jyotish. I solely do Vedic Jyotish actually. Okay. And my focus is on what are the practical remedies that a person can do to improve his life. I've been working with, I don't know how many clients. I think it's been a few thousands of clients, closely monitoring their remedies and their progression over the period of time. So I'm here to give you what is the practical approach to Jyotish. Okay, to get to the philosophy, the theory, but how you apply it in a practical chart. Yeah. How you're going to identify the problem and what steps you are going to take in order to solve the problem of the native. You'll come to know what problems can be solved, what problems can be mitigated, some problems can only be mitigated, cannot be solved. So you will have to identify these steps in the chart. Okay, how much you can change the destiny of a person will depend on that. Okay, as an astrologer, you should be able to see whether I will able to achieve this thing or not. This is how the practical aspect works, because you cannot change everything, but there are so many things that you can change. You'll know, but what are the fixed karmas you cannot change. You can only mitigate them. Okay, so I will be teaching you, when you see a chart, what are the practical aspects you have to look, and what are the things that you, small things that you can catch in a chart, and you can provide remedies with that. So I will be providing you the stuff with the remedies. So somebody is having a health problem, or somebody is having a problem with the job, how to provide certain remedies that they can achieve their desired effect.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Isuru, is that your name? I'm just reading the chat box, Akshat. Isuru, hi. Hi. How do you pronounce your name?
Isuru.
Isuru. Okay. I know you are at SOAS, aren't you, in London? Yeah. SOAS is a study of Orientals. Study of School of Oriental Studies. So here he's asking, Akshat, I got disconnected, but do we cover the 6 schools of Indian philosophy? What do you mean 6 schools of Indian philosophy?
Naya Vaisheshika, Samkhya, Yoga.
No, we are only going to deal with the Jyotish part actually. Okay, because we are trying to focus on the Jyotish. Because once you go into the philosophy, then there's a never-ending syllabus on that.
But they correspond. There's correspondence between them.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I want to teach you the things that are relevant for you to practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. No. There is and like I said, Bhagavad Gita is one of our core texts, as are all the Puranas, especially like the key Puranas, the Maha Purāṇa, because a bulk of our remedies and the mantras and our philosophy will come from the Puranas and the Vedanta philosophy, so I'm big into that. So I will drag in as much as possible and show you the connections between Jyotish and the Vedāṅga Jyotish. So our focus is very much the Vedāṅga Jyotish, but I can direct you towards certain, certain, let's say if you want to learn Sanskrit, learn Sanskrit or, things like that. But you can do that in SOAS anyway, Isuru, no?
Yeah.
So anyway, what else? What's the next question Rachel has? Will we use our own charts at all in class? Yes, indeed. Absolutely. My other group, elementary group, I have another Vedic, which is not beginners, not foundation, it's elementary. And there we have to use at least 5 charts, including your own. And we constantly do work on that. Absolutely. So we will be doing that. Yeah. So any other questions? There is one more. How long is the course and how much is it? Well, it's approximately, we will cover that next time, but I can give you a rough estimate. One is it will go on every month. We are doing 5 hours of live teaching sessions. So 5 hours distributed approximately 1 hour, 15 minutes per week. And we will try suiting, depending on the enrollments, we will try suiting the timings to all of you all, so that it is hopefully over weekends, or depending on how what the situation is with the students. And the other thing is it will go on over approximately 7 to 8 months, and there will be 3 key workshops which are included in the price. And one is the Panchanga, which is the Indian almanac, which you have to know. And the other one is a refresher course on Sanskrit sounds, it's like, you got to know the basics. So for those of you who are kind of familiar with the Sanskrit sounds, so it will be like a refresher thing, but I will introduce you the Sanskrit sounds and the bejas and all that, which we will use all the time. Bejas are like the seed mantras, the seeds in itself. And the third one is on nakshatras, which is the fixed stars, which we will get a whole workshop on. So that will include that. And the total price is £330 only.
Thank you. That's really great summary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting stuff. Yeah. Oh, just a quick question. Just supposing we're not able to make a course, and I appreciate your flexibility.
Yeah.
Will it be recorded?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. That's a very good question. Is that, who's that? Sorry, I can't see.
That's Kathy, me.
Kathy, oh, Kathy,
yeah.
Kathy.
Hello.
Hello. So, Kathy, you live in Brighton, don't you?
I've just moved to Stenning, which is near Brighton.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but near. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Welcome. So yes, all the sessions will be recorded. They will all be put up on a dedicated channel, as well as on my website. There is an area where all the material will be put up, like presentations, PowerPoint, and things like that. I will need to kind of give access to only those, restrict the access to people who will be on the course, who are enrolled in the course naturally. And there will be AKSHAT is there, and there is a dedicated Telegram group as well, not the current Sonwa group. That is like a general group for all the extra bits and pieces, but there will be a dedicated group only for remedials, putting up charts, putting up links, Zoom links, specific Zoom links. And of course, the recordings will be restricted again to people who have enrolled in the course. Yeah, indeed.
Brilliant. Thanks.
Cool. Okay, so any more questions? And we will continue next week. So you have about, you can pay in installments, 3 installments. Ideally, it's best. Thank you, Eva. Eva is here. I got her enrollments. Thank you very much. So you can pay in 3 if you can't. Just drop me a line. You can get hold of me on Sonwa group and or get hold of AKSHAT. Any of us will do. The pricing is very reasonable, I have to say, no matter what, because you won't get this price and this quality. And especially AKSHAT's great. He's the remedial wizard. Okay. So Okay. Lovely. Go on. Eva, come on.
Very quick question, because it's very fascinating about learning about the remedies to alter our karma. But the question is, are we not going to shoot ourselves in the back, not in a foot, if we are actually, because we are supposed to work through our karmas, not
you are going to
minimize.
work through yes. Now let me tell you that how do we cut our karma? We cut our karma through tapasya. What is tapasya? That you have to go through the burning of the life. And what is the tapasya of Kali Yuga? It is the mantras or the remedy that you do. Mantra is the tap of Kali Yuga. So each Kali Yuga is the time frame we are right now over here. Okay. So when we do something, when we do a mantra or we are doing a remedy, so what we are doing, we are actually cutting down that karma through other means by not just suffering. Okay, remedies is not just about cutting down karmas. Remedies are also about activating things inside your chart, removing.
We can go through the karma.
Yeah, yes, you can cut the karma. You can activate certain houses or certain things in your house, in your chart. You can block certain negativities. Okay, so these are a multi-dimensional things. Remedies are a it's not just you have to do a mantra or you have to do a puja. It's about what you wear, what you eat, which place you go, which day you apply. Every day, everything in your lifestyle is a remedy.
So it's coming into alignment.
Yeah.
It's how the everything in the life, because Vedic Jyotish was meant to imbibe in your daily life. Okay, a person comes to me, and the person is deaf and cannot listen, and is dumb also, he cannot speak also. They cannot listen and speak, and she needs to do a mantra. She's not going to do a mantra. So how we are going to tell her to do a remedy? So we have to make her do something that activates that energy inside her. Okay.
Awakening.
I give you an example. Anybody who needs to activate Mars can also activate Mars depending on what he's eating. He can eat a dark chocolate and activate Mars. It depends how much energy you need for that. Okay. So how the things like what colors you are wearing, what things are there. I saw someone who has a cat, a black cat. I don't know who was there in the video. I forgot the name. Someone here has a black cat. So they knew that the cat is representing that the person is having a very strong Rahu energy inside them. So I remember, if I know if the person is still here, I think they should tell the chart, and we can see that Rahu will have a very strong influence either on the ascendant or on the ascendant lord. This is how you're going to see the remedies and everything. Okay, because you can't just say that, oh, wear this gemstone or do this mantra. That is not sufficient right now. You need to do it everything.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, what colors are good when you're going for presentation in front of your people, or what color of shirt you should wear when you're going to propose your girlfriend. Everything is a remedy in that, and you will be able to learn that.
Yeah. Okay, so next time we will give you the thank you, and next time we will give you the detailed the course guideline and all that. But before that, we will complete the whole presentation, the Dashra avatars and the Samudra mantra and the churning, and the that's it really. And I'm going to put this on the Sonwa YouTube group, so everybody can listen. As I said, and as promised, it is a free introductory class. So thank you very, very much. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
It
Bye,
was
AKSHAT.
amazing.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Anton,
Thank you.
for your
Thank you.
lovely
Thank
questions.
you.
Bye,
Thank
bye,
you.
bye.
So now.
Thanks. Bye.